Good evening and welcome. Thanks for being here. Just for the record, this is video number 401 on the channel. So if you haven't subscribed yet, it's a great time to subscribe. I appreciate the 250 or so subscribers already. And if you could subscribe and share, this would be doing a great service. We'll share the learning around. Today we're going to continue our studies of Ein Yakov, which is culled from Talmud, various stories, lessons, and anecdotes. And the following was taught in the yeshiva of Rabbi Yishmael. Tana de Rabbi Yishmael. Yetze Adam b'sfilin, a person is allowed to go outside with his tefillin. Erev Shabbos im choshecha. We learned in the laws of Shabbos that there are certain things you should be careful about when it gets very close to sunset on Friday afternoon. So if you walk out with something, and you may not realize, hey, it's already Shabbos, or it just got dark outside, and I need to get back, I don't have enough time to get back on Shabbos, you end up carrying potentially on Shabbos. So therefore, certain things you should be extra careful. Don't go out carrying them 2 minutes before sunset, because then you'll have a problem. But when it comes to tefillin, in the yeshiva of Rabbi Yishmael, they taught that a person is allowed to do that, no problem. My time, what's the reason that tefillin is different? Kevan to Amar Rava, or according to another opinion, another version, it's Rabba that said this, either Rava or Rabba. But Rabba, the son of Rav Huna, said that in general, whenever a person wears tefillin, a person is required to touch his tefillin every once in a while. While you wear tefillin, you touch it. We touch it several times during davening. We touch it just over the course of wearing it. That you should make sure that you touch it a drop. It's on top of your mind. We learned this from the tzitz. Now, the Kohen Gadol, the high priest, one of his garments that he wore during the service in the temple was a tzitz. It was a plate that went on his forehead, and it said on it, Kodesh LaHashem, holy to God. Now, tzitz, what do you learn from there? That when it comes to the tzitz, which is the name of this plate, that only has one time mentioned Hashem's name. It says Kodesh LaHashem. It says God's name once. Torah says it should be on his forehead constantly. Which, be on his forehead constantly, he's wearing it. How is that different from any of the other garments? But on your forehead constantly means don't move your mind from it. Constantly pay attention and be aware that you have this plate on your forehead. Tefillin, which has many more than just one time Hashem's name. Hashem's name is mentioned once on the tzitz. In tefillin, we have multiple times Hashem's name. You have the Shema in there and so on. Definitely, you should make sure that you don't forget about the tefillin, and it's on your mind when you're thinking about it. Therefore, because it has to be on your mind the whole time, and you have to touch it periodically so you don't forget, or you adjust it or so on. Therefore, you're going to remember. So Friday afternoon, if you go out carrying your tefillin, you're not going to forget that you're wearing tefillin, because by nature of this type of thing that you wear, you can't forget. It's part of wearing it. Part of the protocol of wearing it is that you're constantly touching it, remembering it. You don't just put it on and forget about your tefillin. Okay, another interesting law, once we're on the topic of Shabbos, which this whole volume is Shabbos, but we veered off to many different subjects. But Tanya Chananya Eimer, the great sage Chananya, taught the following in a brayso. A person is required, Friday afternoon, as it's getting dark, he should check his pockets. Okay? Because, again, you can't carry outside in a public domain, and during the week, you're wearing all different types of clothing. You have all different stuff in your pockets, rather. Okay, for example, if it's your coat, and you didn't change your coat for Shabbos, you have keys there, you have other things there. Just check your pockets before it gets dark. Amar of Yosef said, this law, that you should check your pockets before sunset on Friday to make sure that you don't have anything inside that you're going to, by mistake, carry, is a great law of Shabbos. In other words, it's really important, this element that you should not forget about it. Tanu Rabbana. We now continue with another teaching, also about Shabbos, and this is going to discuss visiting the sick on Shabbos. What is the protocol, the proper way to address them on Shabbos? Because we have this prohibition on Shabbos. You can't do what's called tachanunim. You can't beg God for certain things that are personal needs. Okay. During the week, when we daven, we have the Shemona Esrei 18, which is really 19 blessings. We ask for a lot of things that are physical, mundane, and so on. On Shabbos, for many reasons, we don't ask those things. First of all, we don't want the davening to be so long, because you have to mention a lot of stuff for Shabbos. In addition, if a person gets into a mode of begging for the things, or even asking for forgiveness for spiritual transgressions, vidui, tachnun, different things that we do during the week, on Shabbos we skip all that. And it's by design, because a person shouldn't be anguished and sad, and that he should be happy. Don't focus on those things right now, even things that you need. Don't focus on them. Go a little bit higher, and after Shabbos you could request from God for those things. Now, obviously, if there's an emergency, or something comes up, or there's no choice, then that would be different. But sometimes a communal problem that one is allowed to pray for on Shabbos. So with that introduction, our sages taught the following. If somebody goes in to visit a sick person on Shabbos, which is a mitzvah of Bikur Chayla, it's one of the mitzvahs, even we find that Hashem did it. He went to visit Avram the third day of his bris, because that's the most painful time. So a person goes to visit the sick, regardless of what the illness may be. Shabbos himilizek urefuah kreva lave. Say to him that it's Shabbos, so I can't call out and beg God for salvation on this day, because it's inappropriate prayer. But urefuah kreva lave, don't worry, because Shabbos is so holy, and it's going to bring a merit, a certain spiritual energy, that it'll heal the person. It's going to come to you even without praying. So I'm not going to pray now for your health, because I can't, because of Shabbos. Talking to Hashem and crying about that someone's sick, but it's Shabbos, so the healing will definitely come soon. This was the first opinion. Rabbi Meir says, he doesn't say he's a little more specific, and he says that it can, Shabbos has the ability that it'll have compassion on you, so to speak, the spiritual levels of Shabbos, and it'll cause you to have healing, even if we're not going to daven for that. Rabbi Yehuda says, Hamakim yirachem alecha v'alchei Yisrael. Now, Rabbi Yehuda says the way to properly say this, it's okay if you say Hashem should forgive, should have compassion over you and over the ill people among the entire nation. Because when you include that person, into everything else, then his prayer will be heard, because it's a communal. And sometimes if it's for community, there are exceptions which you could ask for needs, because it's not so personal, it's more for the general community and so on. Rabbi Yossi says Hashem should forgive you. In other words, what should he tell the ill person when he walks in to visit him on Shabbos? He should say Hashem should forgive you among the other ill people of the nation. Now, a little more specific, there was a sage, his name was Shevna. Shevna was titled Ish Yerushalayim. He was a very great person, and he lived in Yerushalayim. They call him Shevna Ish Yerushalayim. His first name was Shevna, and he lived in Yerushalayim, so his nickname or his last name was Jerusalemite. Shevna of Yerushalayim. He used to say as follows: Bichnisasai, when he walked in to visit the person that was sick, he would say Shalom, peace, which is greetings. Hello, how are you? Peace unto you. Uviyitziasai, but when he would leave the ill person on Shabbos, just before he left, he would say Shabbos imilizek urefuah kreva lave. That Shabbos, I can't call out, I can't beg Hashem to bring you healing, because begging is not really allowed on Shabbos for things that are bothering us. But Shabbos will bring the healing, because refuah kreva lave, the merit of Shabbos will bring healing to you without the praying. The racham of merubim, the shivsu b'shalim, and his compassion, Hashem's compassion is great, and sit peacefully, meaning everything will be fine. Now, if you noticed, he said shalom when he walked in, and he finished his best wishes or whatever also with the word shalom. Sit peacefully, meaning no worries. Kiman Ozla, according to which teaching is this style or method of wishing a sick person well, does he go according to? Hada Amar Reb Chanina. It's like according to Reb Chanina. Because Rabbi Hanina said, anyone that has an ill person, someone that's sick in his family, God forbid, you should include him among all the other ill people of the nation of Israel. This is according to Rabbi Yehuda or according to Rabbi Yasi. Rabbi Hanina said another thing. The Kaishi Hitiru the Nachem Avelu Lakechelim b'Shabbos. It was actually not so simple that our sages have allowed and made it okay to comfort the mourners and to visit the sick on Shabbos, because it's a sad thing and it's bringing up sad stuff. So it's a big mitzvah, but Shabbos has an important element to it. Now, in the end, it's allowed, but it was a difficult subject to figure out, and our sages have said it's okay to do so. But in general, it's showing us how important it is to be positive on Shabbos and upbeat, and even going to ask Hashem for forgiveness or ask Hashem to heal the sick or so on, unless it's for all the sick people and so on. We're careful about it. If you notice in the Misha Beirach, which is the prayer that said, God forbid somebody's ill, and if anyone ever needs a Misha Beirach, he could put it message me or put it in the comments. I'd be happy to pray next to the Torah for the health and well-being. But during the week, we use one version when we say it, that they should be healed. On Shabbos, we say the word Shabbos imelizik. It's Shabbos. We can't really call out for the healing. We say it in a roundabout way, but indirectly. We mention the names and so on. And a great, but from the merit of Shabbos, the healing will come. This person will be healed. By the way, those that are watching, welcome. Thanks for being here. If you have any questions, feel free to put it in the chat or in the comments, depending what platform you're on, and I'll try to address it. Amar Rabbi Chana said, when we would go after to the great sage Rabbi Eliezer, we would accompany him. He would go up and visit someone that was sick. How did he say it? In other words, we had this whole discussion till now. What's the proper terminology, and what are the words that a person says when he's visiting someone that's not well on Shabbos? So he says that when we went to visit Rabbi Eliezer, when we went with Rabbi Eliezer to visit the sick, Zimnin, sometimes he said Hashem should remember you peacefully. So it's not saying he should heal you because you're ill. It was more of Hashem should remember you peacefully. But again, he used the word shalom, which is important for the next piece. V'zimnin, and sometimes Rabbi Eliezer, Amar le'rachmana yidkirinach l'shlom. First time he said it in Hebrew, yifkidach, for peace. And sometimes he would say it in Aramaic, yidkirinach. Remember, in Hebrew, it's yifkadcha. In Aramaic, it's yidkirinach. There's two ways of saying remember. So sometimes Rabbi Eliezer would say it in Hebrew, and sometimes he would say it in Aramaic. How did he do this? Or why did he do this? Why not? We have an interesting teaching that angels, they don't know Aramaic. A person should never ask for his personal needs in Aramaic. There are certain prayers that we do in Aramaic because we want the rest of the community to know the meaning of them. But when your needs that you have, you should not, says Rabbi Yehuda, you should not ask for them in Aramaic, because Amar Rabbi Yechanan said, anyone that asks for his needs in Aramaic, is this kakin. The angels, the holy angels, they don't help this person. They don't bring your prayers up to the heavenly throne. Because the angels, the heavenly angels, they don't know Aramaic language. So why did he say sometimes in Aramaic if they don't speak Aramaic? Now, sometimes when a person prays, you want the angels to bring your prayers to higher levels. You're obviously praying to Hashem, not to angels. But if they don't understand it, it's not helpful. So why did Rabbi Yechanan do? Why did Why did Rabbi Eliezer do this? Sometimes he said it in Aramaic, sometimes in 52, no?
52, right?
Yeah. And sometimes in Aramaic. So he said like this. Shani chayla, a ill person is different, and you could ask for his healing in Aramaic because the Shechina imay, Hashem's presence is with the ill person. And it's not about the general route of prayer, that there are angels that are carrying your prayers up, and so on. The Shekhinah is right there. And obviously, the Shekhinah, God's presence, you could talk in Hebrew. Obviously, Hashem is always there, and He always hears our prayers. And again, we're not praying to angels, but the concept of the language that's used in the element of angels, malachim, bringing the prayers to Shamayim, we don't use Aramaic language for praying. I should mention that if a person doesn't know the meaning of the prayer, it's you could pray in any language you want. It's very important that you understand what you're saying. There's the Hayamim of today, where of Ches Tevis, where the Rebbe brings from the Tzemach Tzedek that he made sure that the teachers that would teach his children, his grandchildren, even when they were very little, that they taught them the meaning of the davening. So they're not just saying words; they understand what they're saying, and then he would test them from time to time to see how well they know it. The point is, while we're talking about the importance of davening in Hebrew and not requesting in Aramaic, you should use any language that you know. If you don't know Hebrew, you can use any other language, and it's perfectly fine. We're praying to Hashem. How do you know that the Shekhinah dwells with the ill person? It says that Hashem is leaning on or helping him, supporting him. Someone that is weak, Hashem is supporting him on his bed. When the person is not well, and this is the bed of the sick. So Hashem is right there. And therefore, Rabbi Yezer, when he went to visit Yale, he would do sometimes in English, and sometimes, in Hebrew, and sometimes in Aramaic. Everyone should be healthy. Thanks for joining. See you again soon. Ma'adiv now.